Whether you're currently using Instagram and struggling to grow an audience, or maybe you're new to the platform and start from zero, then this is the video you've been looking for. I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to know to boost your engagement, increase your followers, and to finally build a successful account in 2024. So if you're looking to build an online presence and create a successful business, then you're in the right place. And then just in case this is your first time here, welcome, my name's Charlie, and over the past 7 years, I've been running multiple online coaching businesses, while simultaneously teaching others how to do the same. And in this video, I'm gonna highlight the key components you'll need to ensure success. I'll also be sharing some juicy hacks that not very many people know about, so be sure to stick to the end where I'll be revealing these. I promise you won't regret it. So if you're looking to scale your Instagram as a fitness coach, we're gonna go through step by step what you need to do. So firstly, if we look at your profile, there's 3 key things you wanna be looking at when it comes to your Instagram profile, and we're gonna break these down step by step. So number 1 is pinned post, number 2 is the highlights, number 3 is the bio summary. Now, what do I mean by a pinned post? So at the top of your Instagram feed, if you take a post and you hit the 3 dots, you can put pin to profile. That will essentially then pin that post to the top of your profile, so it always stays at the top of your timeline. You can do this on main feed, and you can also do this in Reels, which most people don't realize. Now, there's 3 different types of pin posts I would recommend that you have on your Instagram as an online coach. Number 1 will be something to do with your story. It's your own personal transformation in terms of where you were, where you are now, and like actually storytell. Because one of the most important things for you to build a real brand is to become the attractive character. And people buy from people because of the stories they tell. So you need to have within the pin post, one which is about you in terms of where you're from, to where you are now, the success you've had, any accolades, all that type of stuff. The second type of pin post I would have would be some type of reel with a call to action at the end of it that gives away a lead magnet. So for example, let's say I make a reel that is do a bicep curl like this, don't do it like a hammer curl, comment below arms, you get a free copy of my arms guide. You would then basically put that type of post as a pinned reel, because that's the type of thing that people are going to engage with, and then they're going to want to get the free thing. Now, a whole other subject, but one of the reasons why we do this is because this drives leads into your Instagram account, because you can connect into it, ManyChat and go high level, which will automate replies to the comments and start conversations. Now, which reel should you basically put there is the highest performing one you have. So I would suggest for everyone watching this right now, and the thing you should definitely do, and you hate money if you're not doing this, is make one variation of that type of reel every single week, and then get the highest performing one you have, put that top of your profile, because that will then mean when anyone new comes to your profile, there's a high likelihood they're going to engage into it. So those are the first 2 things you want to do in terms of pin posts. The third type of pin post I would do would be a client result. So you want to get the best client testimony you have and have that pinned to the top of profile. You could potentially, if you've got a lot of results, put 10 different images, like before and after photos, and do that in a carousel. Or you could have maybe 5 images and 5 videos of each people like saying how great your program is, where they swipe across and it's like before and after photo, video, before and after photo, video. That works very well. Now, where most people actually leave a lot of money on the table with this, with those types of pinned posts with transformations, what you need to make sure is that the copy and the caption is very good. So with copy, the first line of the first sentence is like 80% of it. So you need to make sure that really bangs. And one of the best things you need to do in terms of content is always use the word you, your, and like try and really pull the person into it, feel specific to them. So that's what we want to be looking at in terms of looking at pinned posts on profiles. Second thing we have, Instagram highlights. So these are little round dots above the main feed. Essentially, here's a couple of different things I do. So 1, I would have a highlight, which is my story. I would film a day's worth of stories, or like just load of stories back to back. Talk about where you came from, what you've overcome, like show like old photos, like story tell throughout this. This should probably be 12 to 15 stories. So you could talk about how maybe you were out of shape, how you got in shape, how you found a coach, how you now start helping change other people's lives, the success you've had, like accolades. Maybe I've been in Forbes magazine, Men's Health. You show that type of stuff on there to give you more prestige. If you've competed, you can also show it as highlights. You can also show things about your personal life, because people buy from people. So if you like cats, like I do, then you can put your cats on there. If you like traveling, you can put that in there. If you like cars, all that type of stuff. So put that into like my story. The second thing I would do in my story is have client results, so transformations. So again, when you share client results to your stories, I would add them into my highlights because then people can see all the results you're getting. The third thing I would do is to have some type of like free guides. So we spoke about in the pinned post having CTAs for reels, so maybe like arm guys, chest guys, whatever it is. I would have some free stuff in there that gives value that you can drive people to, whether that be actual guides or, for example, YouTube videos like this, podcasts. If you can direct people to long form content from Instagram, that has a huge amount of value. So that's what I would do with highlights. And then lastly, bio summary. So this is essentially the text on your Instagram profile. What you want to do here is be very specific. And one thing that I don't like people to do is to niche down to obscene levels, where like I help vegan mums called Jenny who live in California who are over 35 and only do CrossFit. Like that doesn't make any sense. So be specific to a general, rather broad niche. So it'd be like, I help guys get in great shape in under 12 weeks, eating what they love, whatever it might be. So like whatever your market is, put that in there as a strap line of like a specific result, a specific specific result, specific time frame, and make that very, very crystal clear. I should be able to look at your profile and like, this is what he does, this is how he does it, and look at the rest of the profile and it should all be congruent. So this is really what you want to be looking at in terms of profile optimization. So next thing we need to look at once we've got a profile set up is quality content. And what I mean quality content is actually how you're filming the content. So if you want to make loads of money as an online coach, the best suggestion I can give you is this. What's one of the main tools you're going to use to grow your business? Your iPhone. So buy the best iPhone you can, because what that actually means, if you get an iPhone 15 Pro or whatever the latest one is out when you're watching this video, you can actually make pretty much all of the content on that. And what most people don't realize is because of metadata on the footage, that if you actually make things on iPhones, they often outperform really expensive DSLR cameras. So you can use an iPhone 15 and produce high quality content with that. One thing I would say though is, as you're looking to scale, the most important thing you need to be probably doing is investing in high quality content. So hiring someone to probably do the filming for you, getting a videographer, having editors, and we've got whole other videos on that, which is a whole other subject. But if you're making more than 5-10K a month, you should really be looking for someone to come in to help you make the content. If you're not at that point yet, then I would suggest you just use an iPhone 15 Pro, very, very easy to use. The second thing when it comes to actually quality of content is actually making it engaging. So one of the big mistakes people make is they actually make them too much straight talking to camera, and there's no camera angle changes. So if you look at something like the Kardashians, not that I watch that, but one of the reasons why that was so successful, particularly when it came out, is because if you watch it, every 3-4 seconds, the camera angle's changing because they're trying to make it as engaging as possible. So what you need to do is almost use the Kardashian effect in terms of with your content and make sure the camera angles are constantly changing, because people have an attention span less than a goldfish at the moment. So you need to make sure that you can pull people in. And this is some of the things we'll come on to later on in this video, but one of the quickest ways to do that is just by having multiple camera angles where you change every 2-3 seconds, or also adding in B-roll clips. And by B-roll clips, like this is one of the easiest things you can do, is just film loads of sick content, whether you're walking down the beach on holiday, you're eating out at dinner. These are all things you can layer into videos to give more variation if it's congruent to the subject of the video. The last thing I would add into that is to make sure the quality of the audio of things is correct. So if you are going to be filming with an iPhone 15 Pro and you're in a gym, for example, one of the best things you can do is get wireless mics connected to that. Because if you're making content that's very audio heavy that people have to listen to, if the quality is very bad, people won't listen to it. The other thing I'd say to that is also to make sure that if you're going to be putting music onto things, then make sure it's actually relevant to the video. And if you're looking to boost posts, which we're going to come on to later in this, you need to make sure that the music you're putting onto the reels isn't copyrighted. So storyboard clips. This is a new thing I've come up with recently. If you go onto my Instagram account, you will see a reel which has how I made $11 million in 6 years. I'm going to show you how in 9 seconds. Essentially, this is just a B-roll clip of me getting into my Ferrari, and then it's 5 screenshots of here's the 5 things you need to do. It's like step 1 is do X, Y, Z. Step 2 is do X, Y, Z. Step 3 is do X, Y, Z. Blah, 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 blah. And then the last clip is another B-roll clip, which is basically if you want help in terms of scaling your business, comment below and we'll basically help you. So you can do the same thing from a fat loss and fitness perspective or any industry, where essentially you have like bold claim or something at the beginning, and then you roll that through like really specific tactical things people can take away. They actually want to save that clip for and utilize. this is one of the quickest ways to grow your account with one of the strategies we're going to come on to later on in this video, which is about boosting reels. Now, CTA reels, sort of similar to the storyboard ones. So in fitness, the big ones I'd push with this is some type of contrarian content ideally, or something that's going to get a lot of engagement generally. So one of the best ones I did in fitness was a bench press is a terrible exercise. This is why you should do dumbbell bench press instead. Loads of people comment on it because people get pissed off because I'm saying a bench press is a terrible exercise. So it gets more engagement. You get some flack, but it is what it is. And then at the end of that reel, I say, comment below if you want a free copy of my chest training guide. Again, this then pulls in tons of engagement. The people who then comment, we can then DM, send the guide, get them into conversation, send them the program. This will then also push this content out to more people. So you can do the same thing with training content. You can do it with nutrition stuff. Works phenomenally well. And the last type of reel I'd really focus on is talking to camera emotional content. So what do I mean emotional content? It's not talking about how your girlfriend left you, but it's thinking about what the pain points are your actual avatar have, like the specific clients you work with. Talk specifically to those. So a great way to come up with ideas for this is when you have sales calls with prospects or even in DM conversations, those things that come up that they're struggling with are the things you want to talk about. And the more you talk about emotion and the more you trigger people, the more likely they are to reach out to you. Because sometimes people are like on the cusp, they just need a little nudge. And if they watch something or they hear something that maybe makes them buy into you, but also makes them realize they have an issue, then this will get them to buy in. And one of the big problems I see with people when they target, which I'd recommend you do if you want to make more money, is more successful individuals. If a guy's say 45, he's got loads of money, he doesn't realize he has a problem. So your job is to actually use emotion talking to camera to trigger something to make him realize that he is actually really out of shape and letting his family down. So if you were to make content, you would talk about like how you're a shit father if you're out of shape because you're setting a bad example for your kids and you're going to be shortening their lifespan because of the bad habits they're picking up. That's going to trigger some people. You probably get some flack, but it's actually probably the honest truth. And that's also going to get a lot of people who are in that position who are like, yes, Charlie, I need your help. So before we go into stories, one of the things I want to talk about is also the language you use in terms of content. So I referred to this earlier, but one of the most important things you want to do is identify the person who's going to be watching the video, who's going to be reading to it. So you want to use you, your as much as possible and try not to use I. So this is a huge thing that's going to apply to all the content. In particular, we even come into something like stories, which we're going to cover now. So the first thing I would do, which absolutely kills it, is the one story method. Now, what's the one story method? The one story method, pretty much what it says on the tin, English expression, is essentially you have no other stories up but one story. This one story is super clickbait. So if I give a great example, one would be if I did a topless photo of me of like an ab selfie or something, and then I was like, want a free copy of my 2,500 calorie fat loss guide, DM me fat loss, I'll send it over to you for free. That will go absolutely nuclear in terms of story reach. That will probably get 4 to 5 times as many story views as a normal day stories because you've got one story that's going to get maxed out. And generally, the more stories you have, the less reach you tend to get. But by using this one story, Instagram does one thing. All social media platforms are set up to do essentially get one thing, engagement and keep people on the platform. So if you put something up that loads of people are DMing in that's creating engagement and they're staying on, they are going to push that to more of your audience. So this is one of the quickest ways to increase your story views and also make more money. Now, what I would do with this is I would implement the one story method into a posting calendar. What do I mean by posting calendar? It's having a set schedule, maybe Monday to Sunday, in terms of like what type of stories you post in each day. So what I tend to do with the one story method is the days where I know I'm not going to have anything that exciting going on, like maybe Monday, which is the sacrificial lamb for just doing meetings all day, I would probably just do the one story method where I just throw up one thing where loads of people can DM, which can get us loads of leads, loads of story views, and really pump our audience. And then maybe Tuesday I post more social proof, show client reviews, client testimonials, I show some training stuff, like have a set schedule, Monday to Sunday is specifically what you do, but I would probably use the one story method 2 days a week. And then have that built into posting calendar. The other thing I would say is in terms of bonus of how to get more story views, 2 things you want to focus on. One is to make sure that you put location tags on Instagram. That helps a lot in terms of getting more story views, particularly actually in coincidence with this. The second thing is I would actually limit how many stories you put up. In my opinion, you want to max about 4 to 6 a day. If you go over 6, you'll see that there's a big drop off in terms of the amount of viewers. So ideally I'd post all your stories in one go, like bang, 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 bang. It's also a much more efficient way to do it. So instead of posting stories throughout the day, I would literally, if you want to record stuff as you go, and then one time a day, post them all in one batch. This will get you more views, but it's also more time efficient. The second thing I would do with this, which will help in terms of getting more engagement, is actually tag like restaurants, gyms, whatever, and they'll repost your stories. The more you can get your content reposted, the more free reach you can get, which is going to pull people in. And if you're an online coach and you want to make more money, one of the best things you can do is this. You share your clients' testimonials, you tag them in it, like the before and after photos. If they share it, they're marketing it for free to all of their friends. Now basically talk about how to put the whole system on steroids and grow your account really quickly. So this is via boosting and paid ads. So essentially very much social media is becoming a pay to play platform in terms of where organic reach is going down, but on Instagram you can actually flip this on its head and get this to work for you. So essentially what I would recommend you do is you find reels that are converting to pulling in clients. You then put money behind them to get more eyeballs and traffic. Now, who should you be targeting in terms of, and how does this essentially work? So what you want to look at in terms of demographic is where your clients come from. So say, for example, I'd say for most fitness coaches, if you're in the UK, I would target US, Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, maybe Australia. So I'd put 5 locations into an ad set to boost. And this is the key thing. You want to make sure that it's not on automatic, and you want to make sure that you do open targeting. Now, open targeting means you have no interests. You don't select anything. You select male, female, whatever your demographic is, age. And the way the platforms basically work now is the AI is so good, it will read your content and it will send it specifically to the right type of person. So the more specific you are in terms of identifying the type of client you work with, so like executives, expats, busy mums, whatever it might be, the more it's going to push it to that type of client. Now, what I would do is I would start with an initial budget of maybe say £20 a day. And what you want to do is you want to boost the reels which have the most organic engagement, because it means that reel's good. People liked it, people commented on it, so then you can start to put spend behind it. Now, what I would do is make sure that those reels have a call to action where basically people are commenting. So then we're going to get them into conversations automatically by using ManyChat and Go High Level to reply to comment and send them a message. It will get more people to follow your account who you can then message and then sell fitness programs. And then essentially what you want to do is look at one very important metric. If you click on insights in the reel, it will show you how many people are followed from that reel, and then also show you how much you've spent. And what you want to be looking at is in terms of how much it's costing you per follower. The max I would recommend people want to look at in terms of fitness industry is probably like 50p a follower. Is probably the top end of what you want to be looking for. And what you can do as well is look in Ads Manager and look at the cost per click. So if you were looking at the cost per click, if you can get something like 10p, that's pretty good. I wouldn't want to go any more than probably 20, 30 pence per click, because that's going to be too high. So when you're looking to try and scale these up, why I said earlier in terms of why you want to make these types of reels every week, you want to be testing all the time to see if you boost another reel, is it getting a cheaper cost per click, getting more followers than the previous ones? If so, you want to try and push that reel more, because you're going to get more bang for your buck and you're going to make more money. But this is the quickest way to actually build your account in 2024 if you have a business that has some scale. Now, one of the questions is, should you boost reels from within the Ads Manager itself platform, or should you do it actually within the Instagram app? What I would recommend you do it is you do it within the Meta Business Suite platform, not within the app. Because if you boost within the app, there's actually a charge that's coming from Apple and Facebook, which I think is going to be 20 to 25% extra in terms of cost. So what I'd recommend you do is actually do this within the Meta Business Suite, and I'm going to walk you through a full Loom video of actually how to do that right now. Okay, so when it comes to boosting Reels, what I would suggest you do is you can either do it in the app or you can do it within Meta Business Suite. So this is going to show you how to do it in Meta Business Suite. So this is basically connected to your Instagram account. So it'll show you Instagram account, Facebook, all this type of jazz around here. So here you can see, for example, all the videos I have and Reels that have gone up and what we can boost. So let's say we want to boost this Reel here that went up on the 25th of February. If we click on boost, this should then load up with the next stage. Now, what we want to do here is we want to make sure Advantage plus Creative is turned off. This is the golden rule, what you want to avoid. You want to avoid having automatic. So what automatic generally will do is it will send it to the cheapest people who are in your audience, so primarily like India, Pakistan, all these places where you're never going to sign up clients. We don't want to do that. So
What we tend to do is we target a lot of this audience. So open targeting, UK, US, Ireland, Canada, male, female, 20 to 40 years old. Now, why do we target that? Because that's the core demographic of where our client base and audience we want are coming from. The second thing with this is we use open targeting. So you can add further interest into here and you can create those. So for example, if I go to create new, it will then give me the option of doing men, women. So let's say we do men. Let's say we do 25, let's say 24 to 45. And let's say we want them not to be in Spain, because I'm currently in Spain, and trust me, you do not want people from here. Let's say we're going to do UK, and let's say we want to do detail targeting. You could do something like weight loss. Now, this is a section where you can choose title weight training, or it gives you suggestions. Now, what I would do here is I would leave this blank. So you always want to leave these blank and have it as an open targeting. Because the way this works, the AI within Facebook and an algorithm will read your content and push it to the right people, which is why it's so important that the reels, your content, are super specific. You then click Save Audience, that then comes into here, and then you then go to the next step, which is you can choose to run this ad continuously, like it never ends, or choose an end date. So I would normally do choose continuously. Spend obviously depends on your budget. I would recommend minimum generally about £20 a day starting budget. As a golden rule of thumb, how much should you be spending on marketing your business is around 20% of revenue and like actual traffic. That's then connected to, if you haven't already, an American Express card, because that will help you get plenty of points and air miles so you can then travel the world first class for free. And this is essentially how we then boost Reels. So then click publish, that off it goes, and that is basically what that looks like. Now, what this looks like in terms of Reels that have already done and how we basically want to look at performance is I would look essentially at the cost per click and the cost of followers. So this one here, for example, this one has been boosted. We can then see, we click on here, overview, impressions, watch times, how that's performing from ads, from organic, typical shares, all this type of stuff. Now, the thing you can't do on here is it will not show you how many followers you get. So what you want to do instead is what I will jump onto my phone and do a screen recording for you, which will basically show you how we basically get what's the next important metric, which is essentially how many followers we're getting. So you want to bring the reel up, you want to click view insights, and then you want to scroll down, and then you will see the magic numbers we're looking for. So follows 65, and we've spent £109.60. So this isn't performing well, so this would be switched off. Ideally, what we want to be looking for is a cost of a follower under £1. So this would be an example in terms of an ad that's not performing well, which will be turned off. So this is the metrics I would look at. Literally come straight into here, look at how many followers you're getting, how much you spent, and work out what the cost per follower is. Generally, a really good rule of thumb is if it's below 50p or 50 cents, that's a really, really strong position to be in. And this is how we boost Reels in Meta Business Suite and how we actually get to manage the tracking of it if it's performing well.
So now the bit you've waited for, hacks. How to actually grow your account, how to get more reach, and how to increase the likelihood of going viral. So there's a couple of key things you need to focus on. So number one is you need to have what's called a VPN. So this is huge in terms of if you're going to have setters and people logged into your account, so you don't have people logged in multiple IP addresses. What I'd recommend is you get a dedicated VPN. We use one from Surfshark. This is essentially an IP address you then own that hasn't been abused and used by other people. So this is actually very good in terms of from a security point of view as well, and will stop your account getting disabled. 2021, I had my Instagram account disabled because we had an editor from Egypt log in without the VPN on. So often if you have people log in from everywhere, that will flag that. The second thing, which is now very important, is called a GPS spoofer. Now, most people have no idea what the hell this is. So what is a GPS spoofer? So a GPS spoofer is a software that you can put into your phone that will change the actual location of where your phone is. So I could get my phone and I can put it anywhere in the world. So what we basically want to do is we want to move our account to the location where all of our clients are. Because what happens if, for example, I live in Dubai and my Instagram account moves to Dubai, my content, when it gets pushed and out to the algorithm, is going to get pushed to the Middle East first. Now, the first language in the Middle East, in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, all this area, is not English, it's Arabic. So therefore, it's going to suffer and not get pushed out. Also, it's not getting shown to the right eyeballs. One way you can test this is actually post on TikTok, because it will show you the locations in terms of where content's actually getting pushed to. So the GPS spoofer and how this essentially works, the one I would recommend is called Anygo. It's completely free. So you basically plug your phone into your laptop, choose a location, bang, put it onto say London, for example, click play, changes the location on your phone. The time on your phone will also change. And basically what happens after 2 weeks, this will move your 2 to 3 weeks, it should move your account to the new location. Now, one caveat to this is that anyone else who's logged in your account will also need to do the same thing. One of the reasons people's Instagram accounts have bad health is because they have multiple people logged in without VPN. They're also logged in from multiple different locations. And this is like a massive red flag to Instagram. So these are some key things you need to do. Thirdly is if you want to start a new business and you're fairly new to this, or you want to try and blow up an Instagram account, Instagram won't let you create a new account and let it explode and go viral straight away. On TikTok, you can create a new account, post one video and it goes nuclear. On Instagram, that won't happen. However, a way you can do this is if you get an aged account. So if you buy someone's old cat Instagram account that's 6 years old, and then you start posting content on it that's really good, that can blow up very, very quickly. So if you want to create a new business Instagram account, for example, one of the things you could do is look to buy an Instagram account from someone that's maybe a couple of years old from the country you want to push to, and that will allow that account to actually grow way quicker than a new one. The next hack I'm going to give you is actually doing some editing in app. So one of the ways Instagram likes to push people's content out, if there's some actual native editing of videos and content within the app platform. So one of the easy ways to do this is sometimes just adding some text to reel. So as you want to post a reel up, you could put edit and just add in a small bit of text somewhere, and that can give you a bonus bit of reach. And the fourth way to get more bonus reach in terms of actually from Instagram stories, and you'll get this a lot if the US election, if your Instagram account is in the US, is putting badges on your account. So if you put, on your stories. So you can hide these behind images, hide them behind reels. You can put like the vote thing. When it's October and Halloween, you often get Halloween badges, Chinese New Year. If you put these things on stories, they push your account out loads and your stories out loads. That will get you loads more eyeballs. So this is step-by-step in terms of how I would scale and grow your Instagram account in 2024. If you took some value from this, make sure you smash the like button, comment below any questions, and I will personally answer them. If you want help in terms of scaling your own online business as well, there's a link below this video. You can find out exactly how we can help you. And if you want a free content course in terms of how to actually make content that crushes and generates calls and clients, there's free access to our 4C course, which is also in the description below. And we'll see you next video very soon.